I started to get harassed more and more by right-wing commentary, reactionary.
Right? Yes. Keep calling us right-wing like that even fucking matters. Chud isn't even right-wing. Most commentary channels don't give a shit about politics. I would say about 90% of commentary channels genuinely don't give a ounce of a about politics. I'm gonna ask my roommate. Hey, you, question. Am I a political person?
No.
Do I care about politics?
Hell no.
When I cover things, do I insert politics into it?
Zero.
Zero. Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Hey, bitch! Most people aren't f***ing political. What? You're suing a man and you end it with a fucking dog hitting a fucking drum! I'm fucking mad.
Cops is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
I'm gonna be real. I'm very excited for this. I'm so excited, chat. This has been so long in the making. I have been waiting for this video on bated breath for 6 months. 9 months, actually. 9 months I've been waiting on this response video. After all the shit that brought us here, Nick is not green disavowing the original video that was so ass that Turkey Tom and Destiny had to get involved. Ethan is online having a full-blown meltdown towards me, a Cheeto, Sensitive Society, Psych Draws, and others. It's been a long journey, hasn't it, chat? It's been a very, very, very long journey down this road to get this video. I wish to state right here and now that at one point I was actually pretty charitable to Lex Updog. I was actually saying that she could, if her prerogative is to feel the way that she felt and how Dawn, quote unquote, ruined her, I wanted to be understanding to that back in the day. The more and more that this got dragged out, the more and more Ethan kept doubling down on things, the more and more that Lex delayed this. Makes me genuinely not feel sympathetic. And to be purely honest here, and it's going to sound kind of coarse saying this, a guy pushing your head down while you guys are in a relationship, you're getting sexy, he pushes your head down a little bit so you could slop his knob. That's not sexual. That's not SA, honey. It's not. If you scream no or no, don't do that, and he kept doing it after, yeah, then it would be SA. No, not anymore. Sorry. This has become too stupid for me to care that much. So, let's get it going.
Some stuff to look at and some stuff to talk about, so I don't really have much to say. I think we should get into it.
I really don't have much to say. 45 minutes. But I made a 45-minute video whining, bitching, moaning, and complaining that Chris, Chud, Turkey Tom, Nicholas Diorio, SuperMega, Destiny, Nick is not green, all these people just don't believe me. They don't believe me.
So for just a quick recap, just gonna go through what's been going on since I posted my last video that's on this channel.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're starting off on this video, Pigeon. I'm glad we're starting with this video off the bat that she is already considering this a nothing burger. I love that.
I posted my video and Rav posted his corresponding Twitter post.
Yeah, and Rav is a snake and contradicted your statements in his tweet. I'm telling you right now, the people that flew under the radar the most, and I think I was live with Larix on my channel at one point. It's like before the Mama Max drama shit. I think me and Larix were digging through all the background characters of the Lex drama and SuperMega, and we pulled up Rev's deleted Twitch VOD, where he talks about how having ADHD gives him a form of PTSD or whatever. There's so many people that flew under the radar. Morg Pie accusing Matt of cheating, and that somehow equates to him being a terrible person, even though they didn't cheat. They were on break with their girlfriend at the time, and Morg Pie is just a whore. A whore that got fucking dumped. Rav, Leighton, Actually, Leighton got a lot of shit. I think Leighton deserves more shit. Peethan all flew under the radar. Well, not really Peethan. If I have to like think about it, Peethan kept putting himself into these stupid situations.
With mine on July 27th, 2023. In it, I give a little background on Dawn and I's relationships past, and
Oh yeah, I give a little background. Chat, do you remember how long that little background was? I'm so curious.
it was too far to drive.
Yeah, our relationship conversation was about 30 minutes.
Then I go on to detail the assault that happened that took place by Dawn, how I tried to handle it with him offline, and I go into explaining why it took 2 years to say.
Also, you didn't do anything during that time frame. You continued to date him, which, okay. It takes a while for you to rationalize that something like that happened to you, right? In your case, I put it in air quotes, but normal people, it takes a while for them to rationalize when something like that happens. But you kept putting it off because you were afraid it's going to be used as drama. I'm pretty sure a simple phone call saying, I don't want to be near you anymore would suffice. But, you know, apparently you want to do that in person.
Anything by going into detail about the events afterwards. I go into Matt and Ryan's reaction or.
Yes, you wasted about 2 hours of that video on SuperMega, which was entirely unnecessary, where you admitted you were a mooch. You admitted that Matt and Ryan did fumble things, but they weren't being malicious towards you. And you perceived it as a form of malicious attack against you. And tried to say, well, I didn't want anyone to know about it, but it's kind of bullshit that Matt and Ryan didn't make a public statement about it. And it's kind of bullshit that Ryan asked me questions about it. Dude, Dawn is an employee of theirs. Dawn is a friend of theirs. Of course they're going to ask questions about it. You can't turn around and get upset when somebody asks questions. Oh my God, what's happened? Two of our friends are having a horrible situation that's going on. We don't know what's happening. Are you sure that's what happened? Because I cannot believe something like that. That's a normal human's response. And then you dedicated 2 hours to bitching about SuperMega that didn't do anything necessarily wrong to you. They just mishandled the situation and they owned it.
Lack thereof. And detailing
lack thereof. Did they not say that Dawn's no longer working with us? Did they not allow you to live at the Super Megaplex the entire time? Am I misremembering things? Chat, fill me in if I missed something on that breakdown real quick. Did Matt not offer you a place to live to help you because you don't have a place to live? But then you bought a Jeep and went on a cross-country road trip because Rev had a bad moment in their life. Or did you do that?
their dishonesty towards me after coming forward about the assault by Dawn, asking with help to avoid him, and the subsequent attempt to make up without my consent or like knowledge at all by Matt and Ryan.
Wait, to make up with my consent, without my consent. They just said maybe you guys should talk it out and try to figure out what's going on here. Did Matt and Ryan purposely collude in the background to have you both at the Super Megaplex at the same time to force you to have a confrontation? No? It was just Matt saying, I totally fucked up and forgot Lex was coming and Dawn was just staying at the house? How is that a, without your consent, forced confrontation? How, Lex?
I go on to detail the events that led me to realize that their actions were on purpose and manipulative, such as simply refusing to speak to me after it was known that I was unhappy with the response about Dawn, and using that against me to emotionally blackmail.
Okay, I'm going to read this again. We were told that y'all are still upset with how we handled the Dawn situation. Is that not true? Is Ryan wrong for saying that? No. If the problems you're talking about, aren't that and are just an off vibe, then yeah, we've caught it too. Whether it's a standoffishness or we're getting from y'all acting in a rude manner when invited to my birthday or whatever seemed like directed negative sarcasm in a recent group chat. So the thing is that Ryan's asking, are you mad at us about the Dawn thing? Totally valid question. To be honest, the second half, everyone's being petty with each other. Lex and Rev were upset that Leighton got fired because Leighton's a BPD manic dumbass that couldn't do his job right. They were upset. Lex even stated that it was weird that he wasn't there. And you guys gave a standoffish vibe that they fired your friend. Is that not a way to condense that down and be like, hey, there was a standoffish vibe at my birthday, and Ryan doesn't know that you're mad that Leighton got fired? Come on.
me due to the fact that I was unhappy with them, or emotionally blackmailing me over being sad at Ryan's birthday party, despite having seen Don, the guy who assaulted me that same very day by his own fault. And the video with speaking about how I want to move on from what happened and heal from my trauma. Don's first apology.
Heal from my trauma, she says. Your trauma. Did you get brutally raped? No. Did a guy push your head down when you said you had a cold sore? Yeah. But did he let go? Yeah.
He deleted the day after, so that's cool. I found it on Know Your Meme, so shout out to whoever did that. So Dawn starts off by apologizing to Lex for any trauma that she may feel regarding our past relationship, and then goes on to apologizing to the people who, quote, may feel like they were being lied to or kept in the dark. He retells the assault as, I asked her for oral sex and she said no at first because she had a cold sore. This implies I said yes. I had a cold sore and I didn't want to give him anything, and I explicitly declined oral.
Well, hold on.
I said yes. I had a cold sore and I didn't want to give him anything, and
or me, this would put me directly at risk as well. What? Yeah, he was like, hey, she said that she had a cold sore. She said no originally, and then things may have escalated. And then, you know, I tried pushing her again, but I let go. Like, what?
Explicitly declined oral multiple times as he was attempting to coerce me and force me to do so.
How many is multiple? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to sound like a victim blamer here, and I'll own that. How many times is multiple? Was your head in his lap, and then did he, like, push down on your head as hard as humanly possible and didn't let your head up?
So, despite giving clear indication that as then and that morning that I didn't want to, he told me it was fine. It wasn't fine. There was a lot of splitting hairs of if I was actually forced to or not because of Don downplaying what he did, not realizing that that's coercion, asking someone multiple times.
Coercion. No means no, which is him multiple times and was ignored. Did Don not say that let go and was like, okay?
Over and over. I don't really understand how that's not hard to understand unless you really just like downplaying assault.
Oh, here we go. This is what I was hoping she was going to say. Downplaying assault. You just enjoy downplaying assault. This is a video that is made with an upset person. Somebody that isn't happy that the story got flipped on their head. And that they're forgetting that people were more pissed at her about the SuperMega stuff, not the Dawn stuff. Remember, people were focusing in on how you guys canceled SuperMega. This is the thing, right? She can feel the way that she feels about the SA in her words. Me personally, I genuinely don't think that happened. But I wasn't there. And I will say that consistently. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you, did Dawn do that or not? Personally, I think no. But the whole reason that the story got flipped in the manner that it did is because you and other people started going after Matt and Ryan for unnecessary reasons. That's why things got out of control. It wasn't people turning around and going, your rape isn't valid. Nobody was directly saying that. Some people just don't believe you, which is gonna happen. There's this thing called not agreeing. You know, people can disagree on these things. It's normal human nature. But involving the Matt and Ryan part of it, I'm pretty sure universally everybody thought that you handled that like shit. And you know it. You know it.
Asked again, and she said yes, but be careful not to be too rough. Hold on, let me share this. What he's describing is not assault. He's just describing like a sex act. In his first post, he says, quote, during the intimate act, I had pushed her down on her head, after which she recoiled and told me that I was being too rough. During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realize now that this was extremely traumatizing for her. It's like, okay. He's like talking.
It's like, okay, he just said, I thought this was an act. You know, it was an intimate act. I didn't think it was traumatizing for her, and I apologize for that. And she just goes, yeah, okay. What? Thank you for the subscription, Ethan. I need to listen to that back.
After which she recoiled and told me that I was being too rough. During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realize now that this was extremely traumatizing for her. It's like, okay. He's like,
it's like, okay. didn't think I did anything that bad, but it was traumatizing for her, and I apologize for that. Yeah, okay. What the
He's like talking about me like a dog that like just heard thunder and like had
He's talking about me like I'm a dog that just heard thunder. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Stop. See, anytime somebody compares themselves to a dog, I immediately go into Dark Viper mode. Like, I feel like I was an old dog in my past life and I was just beaten and abused. Stop! Stop with the dog references. Dark Vipers killed those.
He says, I then profusely apologized, and we ended up watching TV and going to bed after. That's not how I recall it at all. So that's interesting, because how I recall it is consenting to sex because I was freaked out and scared after that, and then getting choked and blacking out. That's...
Whoa! Where did the choking come from? Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! At any point, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm going based off of memory and, like, the Turkey Top video, because I have to remember that shit. Where in the entire conversation was she alleging that Dawn choked her to being blacked out? Where was that? Where was that? I don't remember that. If somebody could find me a clip of her saying that, I would be shocked. Whoa! What? I would be shocked. If somebody could find me a clip of her, a tweet, anything of her saying that she was choked out to being unconscious, I would be shocked. I covered every aspect of this drama. And I'm pretty sure Sleepy's in the chat too. Sleepy, do you remember Lex at any point saying that she was choked out to unconsciousness? Because I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. Morgpie didn't say that. Leighton, Ethan, Lex, Rav, none of these people said that. Nobody. That's an insane thing to add on. And you're doing it so casually. You've added on an extra layer now. This is true. This is revisionism history happening in front of our fucking eyes.
What I remember. So that's interesting that you don't remember such a discrepancy. Very cool. Dawn goes on to...
You can't say that! You can't say that! Interesting that you don't remember such a discrepancy. You never brought it up in the original allegations. How did you forget that discrepancy? Oh, no, dude. This is not happening. I'm gonna look like such a victim blamer out of this video. Jesus Christ. I try being fair during these situations, but Lex has done nothing. And her little group of fucking idiot friends have done nothing for me to believe them in the slightest. My God.
Speak about our relationship after the assault, explaining that our relationship seemed to have not changed. Don in his post describes going
super relevant info, guys.
Relationship after the assault, explaining that our relationship seemed to have not changed.
Super relevant info. Yes, you still dated him for 6 whole months and was still in his content for months. For months and months and months you were still talking to him. Is that not a crazy statement for him? That's not crazy. He was under the impression that you guys were good. How is that super relevant info? That has been brought up by other channels and other people.
In his post describes going home and SuperMega not using his art anymore, then cutting contacts with him afterwards, and apologizing to me again via Discord, and for some reason includes that he got no reply. It genuinely just feels like he doesn't understand that he did something bad. Like, it just kind of feels like he's like, come on guys, it's no big deal. Like, he should just...
What? He's going around, he thinks this is no big deal. He apologized to you. He recognized what he believes to be your trauma. He recognizes that it burnt bridges with his own friends and employers. I feel like he understands that this is a big deal to you and apologized to you about it. What the f is going on?
It's a you problem. His apology was received pretty badly, considering that Don mostly corroborated my story from the POV of a guy who's trying to sidestep accountability for assaulting someone by implying it could be my fault for Don assaulting instead, I guess. Unfortunately, during the last recording, I got up and forgot the third paragraph of Don's first apology that was deleted, so I'm filling in now.
How do you forget that? Wait a minute! Why didn't you just reshoot the first part? In the first recording of this video, I totally omitted an important part of my argument. This is the worst follow-up video to allegations I've ever seen.
For that part. In this particular paragraph, Don says, at this time, I had contacted Matt and told him what had just gone down. So this implies that Matt was told first about my assault by Don and his side of the story. At his house, I'd explained to him and Ryan what happened and the details about the November trip and what she had told me after Creator Clash. So Don got to LA on May 23rd. So Don's side of the story was the first one to be heard. Don goes on to say, after that, I was staying over at his place for the next couple of weeks.
Wait a minute. Okay, so he told Matt and Ryan first. Are you trying to insinuate that they took Don's side and then started turning on you because they believed that nothing happened with Don? They heard you out. They fired him. They got rid of him. Like... Is that what we're going with? Is this the argumentation?
Don's stay at Matt's house was around May 23rd to June 14th, the day that I saw him. Don got to the office a couple days before the day I saw him. Later, Matt had told me that he had made some arrangements for his friends to sleep over at his place, moving me to stay at the office. Don goes on to say, a couple days at the office had passed when Matt called me and said that Lex was on her way to the office. So this was June 14th. Don says, I was given no prior notice that she was going to be there or moving to LA. It was at this time that I decided to leave to stay with other friends in the area. Don's second apology was on July 29th, 2 days after my video. Don seems to have pivoted from his argument corroborating my story to extending sympathy, then implying I'm either overreacting or a straight up liar. Don apologizes to everyone he's upset first, then me. He references things that have been said rather than saying what he did or saying what was said. References his first now deleted post and saying it had poor wording. Don shifts blame and says I shouldn't have tried to ask her again, even if it was just twice. Don starts to talk.
How is that shifting blame? He just said I shouldn't have done those things. He still owns it.
Talk about things unrelated to what happened between him and I, such as how our relationship continued afterwards, implying I didn't have a problem with him. He listed.
You continued the relationship. You both. That is not a false statement. You continue to talk to each other over Discord and be in a long-distance relationship that entire time. That's not a lie.
Times he's apologized. The night it happened, when I talked to him about it in person and online. Don addresses SuperMega's part in this, that he was not informed about my arrival to the SuperMega office. He mentions Matt's house, but I didn't go there during his stay. Don addresses my mentioning of...
I didn't go over to... Wait. What? Hold on.
About it in person and online. Don addresses SuperMega's part in this, that he was not informed about my arrival to the SuperMega office. He mentions Matt's house, but I didn't go there during his stay.
Okay, that is true. Yep, fair.
Don addresses my mentioning of Cassette Girl being based off of me and decides to imply I'm lying. He does this by saying it was based off of a SoundCloud he was listening to in 2017, following up with, the character is in no way related to Lex. Don must have not remembered telling me directly multiple times that she is based off of me. Don mentioned...
Hold on, I need to see
related to Lex. Don must have not remembered telling me directly multiple times that she is...
Can I be your Cassette Girl ref model for you if you want? Easy refs for content, by the way. Yes, I based her body type off you anyways. The body type, okay. But is that directly you or your body type? Because a body type versus a direct reference to you, two totally different things. First off, maybe I'm autistically splitting hairs on this one. But a body type doesn't necessarily mean a full-blown reference to you. I don't know. Maybe I'm just splitting hairs of being autistic on that one.
Based off of me. Don mentions the art he posted before his apology for some reason, I guess because people were commenting on it. It just seems like a really weird way of deflecting. Don then ends the post by talking about himself and his commission refunds he owes.
Yeah. Okay.
The man who assaulted me essentially admitted that he did it a very roundabout, terrible way. I mean, obviously somebody that would do that wouldn't admit to it, but he corroborated my story. And
wait, he did admit that he made you... Wait a fucking minute. Wait a minute. He owned up how he made you feel. He apologized to you 3 times. You continued the relationship with him up until Creator Clash, and he still apologized for those things well after the fact. He admitted to it. And he admitted to it in the thread, which, personally, I think Don shouldn't have even done that. But, like, you got what you wanted out of Don in the way that you just don't like. That's the problem with Lex. If you don't do it the way that she wants, she doesn't like you. She'll criticize you for it. Well, not criticize you. She'll find a way to say that you're not doing it well enough. She will find a way every time, just like with Matt and Ryan. I just wanted them to make a public statement about it. But I told them I didn't want this to go anywhere and to keep it private. Even though those weren't the exact words, because Pethan is online, he's going to lose his goddamn mind at me. Basically where she's saying, I don't want this to go anywhere. I just want to tell you guys about this. Like, but she still gets mad that Matt and Ryan didn't make a public denouncement of him.
And hit it in real time. And people caught on to it after he had deleted the first one that incriminated him more and began to hold him accountable for being a weirdo and a creep and lamenting his wrongdoing.
Okay, is weirdo and a creep... Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Does weirdo and a creep equal rapist? I'm sorry. Is weirdo and a creep, does that automatically equal rapist? It does not equal rapist.
Because they liked his art or respected him. And the replies to me at this time were condolences, messages of encouragement, and confusion about how this happened and why, which, yeah, me.
Man, everyone felt sorry for me. I had all this support behind me. You know, people were really encouraging to me and saying nice things about me. What happened? What happened?
Too, honestly. After this time, it gets a little weird, though. People immediately jumped onto it on YouTube, so that's the first thing that's weird. Justin sent me a DM on July 28th, which was...
Wait.
What is it? It's the day of Don's first apology. He expressed guilt for not knowing what happened between Don and I.
Are you not going to read the whole thing?
That's the first thing that's weird. Justin sent me...
Is she just not going to read this? Lex, I've been struggling all day with finding the right words to say about the situation going on, and truly, all I can say is that I'm so incredibly sorry. I especially had no idea about how Matt had handled things behind the scenes. Justin is a snake! Justin, you're a snake! Also, this is before Matt even put out his response. Justin's a snake! My trust was completely shattered, and I feel absolutely awful. I'm finding out more things he's lied about as well. And it's just so crushing me. What? Him banging Morgue Pie? Oh my god. He banged a porn star. Oh! And Ryan sexted with adult fans. Oh! Oh no! Justin, you're a snake. I made a decision to leave SuperMega once I found all of this out. You probably look like a dipshit now, Justin. Once I found all this out, and I'm not looking back, all of these things you have had to go through is so unfair, and I appreciate you telling your story. I would have never known without it. I started working there when I was 17 and had so much faith in the company since I basically grew up in it. For this to come out is heartbreaking. I've also reached out to Rav and apologized for how your stay at the office was last year as well. Yep, Justin's a snake. Justin's a little snake. Justin's a snake. Matt and Ryan should dump everything that they have on Justin. Snake!
a DM on July 28th, which was, what is it? It's the day of Dawn's first apology. He expressed guilt for not knowing what happened between Dawn and I. He expressed his concern for everyone involved and went into detail about his past with Matt and about how he felt groomed by him and groomed into bad behavior from him by an early age.
Groomed into bad behavior? What bad behavior? Making inappropriate jokes? What bad behavior? Did Justin go out and rape people? What bad behavior? Him making offensive jokes? Oh my god, the horror! Justin, you're a fucking loser. You know that? You're a loser. Justin, the ex-editor of SuperMega, you're a fucking loser. You're a little snake, whiny little c***, and I actually think you're more of a snake than Nick is not green, which is crazy.
Kelly DMs me on Instagram on the 28th. However, I did not screenshot this. We weren't following each other, so it was a message request, so I forgot to open it. But now she has me blocked, so I can't go get it even if I wanted to.
Yeah, do you want to know why she blocked you? Because Matt and Ryan probably cleared everything up with them, and you're trying to use that as being like, well, they came to me and said that they understood and all blah, 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 blah. That's because Matt and Ryan didn't go public with their side of the story yet, and you were just hoping that everybody was going to believe you. Kelly must have blocked you for a reason. Justin, being the little snake shitter that he is, setting that in the first place is crazy.
So there's that. Kelly's message was, she basically was doing the same thing Justin was extending an apology, and she told me that she wouldn't have taken the job back had she have known what had happened. I assume being in that position, the replacement of a guy without having known was probably very icky. Nick's first video corroborating mine would have came out on the 29th, which is the second apology that Dawn made, the day of.
Nick's video corroborating mine. Hey, retard, you do know that Nick disavows that video now, right?
Pretty much in the video, he gives us a synopsis of mine, gives commentary while he looked at the SuperMega Reddit, subreddit. Not really anything, like, not really hard-hitting journalism. I don't really know it.
Oh, no! Not really, like, hard-hitting journalism at all. You know, he just read the Reddit. Didn't you and Ethan boost that video and say this is a great video, gets our word out there, gets our story out there more? You and Ethan promoted the video on his deleted live stream, where you two chuckle fucks had the SuperMega sub counter going down. You two chuckle fucks promoted that video, and now you're saying, oh, it wasn't really like hard-hitting journalism or anything. What is happening? What a bunch of Weasley little liars, dude. What a bunch of Weasley little liars. Oh, you Weasley little liar, dude.
Anyone expected from this besides just like hearing a summary of a 2-hour video in hindsight, because I feel like it got blown up way more than it did, just because it's like the only video that isn't like a right-winger guy that's like screaming about like OnlyFans or something.
Oh, it's just the right. It's the only video that didn't have it screaming about OnlyFans, right-wingers. I hate you. I genuinely dislike you, Lex. I hate you and your boyfriend. Hate is a strong word, but it's the only way I can describe the two of you. It's not right-wingers. It's people that look at things a little bit more objectively than your politically brain-rot, dipshit, OnlyFans whore of a brain can think of. I'm not even a right-winger, and I'm calling you that. You got a problem? Take it up with the complaint department, my fucking chat. They won't give a shit. Like, what? Right-winger. I didn't even bring up the OnlyFans until right now. We have been going an hour. A whole hour so far, and I didn't bring it up once. But now that you've put it on the table, I have to respond to it. You're politically brain rot, you and your boyfriend. Thank you for the 10 gifted members. Monetizing. This is the greatest idea ever, and I have no regrets. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, the next day, Jim apologizes, and he starts trauma dumping. Oh, actually, sorry. That same day, actually.
He starts trauma dumping. Are you serious? You trauma dumped. You literally could have made a concise video about the Dawn allegations, say Matt and Ryan fumbled this as hard as they did. Instead of bringing up all the other dumb shit, you could have stuck with the Dawn stuff. You could have. You could have stuck with the Dawn stuff and had a video that wouldn't be nitpicked to death like the original one. You trauma dumped first. And Jim, the Jim story is a little insane. I'll graciously admit that. It's a little crazy that you decided, well, that he tried to kiss you with your own words and shit. And him being like, I shouldn't have done that. He started bawling on his channel, if this is the same guy we're thinking of.
Jim apologizes in a video. I have the link for it because he is DMCAing people. Anyone who re-uploads that video that is apologizing to me, the only one that's specifically an apology to me, he's DMCAing it for anyone that posts it. So I...
Wait a minute. The only video that is specifically apologizing to me. Matt and Ryan both apologized to you in their videos. They did that. They did. But they also had to defend themselves from the false bullshit that you, Leighton, Morgue Pie, and Rev were all saying. And Ethan, and Nick is not green. They had to defend themselves on those aspects. They apologized to you for how they handled the Dawn thing. Are you trying to say that those videos weren't apologies to you?
Put it in my Dropbox and it will go in the description. And Jim, if you do it, I will re-upload it somewhere else and I will tell people that you did it. So it's up to you. It's just going to Streisand effect. It was sent to me. I have...
Which, to be fair, Jim should not be DMCAing that video. It's on the internet now, Jim. It's on the internet now. You can't start DMCAing this clip and this video when it is important to public discourse. I will, as much as I dislike Lex, I will back up the fact that Jim should not be DMCAing this video. It is important to the context of what is going on.
The file now. You shouldn't have said sorry or whatever you're ashamed of. Boosting and giving me support. I don't know. He also trauma dumped in my text messages. He sent me a text.
Woof. Ugh. Let's take a look at this. Lex, I can't even begin to express how sorry I am that I made you feel uncomfortable last year. Hearing your explanation of events that night has made me truly disgusted with how my actions affected you and caused you pain. Wasn't this dude, like, wasted? Wasn't he, like, drunk as hell? And made, like, a horrible mistake making out with her, but she also followed him into the closet to be kissed? And she just let it happen? He didn't even, like, rape her. He just, like, kissed her. Like, am I remembering that correctly? As someone who was a victim of a violent SA by a man in college, I thought I knew better. Please know that in my mind and in my heart, I genuinely remember asking if I could kiss you. But hearing about that night from your point of view, I understand how horrible my timing was. Fair enough. I think it's really opened my eyes to how being intoxicated plays a role in not reading the situation correctly. And I know it doesn't change the past, but I'm going to be really taking a step away from alcohol for a bit. I know this text a year later can't ease the pain I caused that night and beyond, but please, please know that I'm so unbelievably, where are we? I know, unbelievably sorry. I had no clue until yesterday how that night affected you and how wrong my actions were. And if there is anything I could do to help ease your pain, I will. I'm sorry, Lex. I would love to get a coffee and talk to you and apologize further, but understand if you're not open to that yet. I know you got a lot going on at the moment.
Message where he just trauma dumped and gave me description of an assault he dealt with without warning and then asked me for coffee, and I did not respond. Goes without saying, I think, why I wouldn't have responded to that. I don't even know.
He even said it was okay if you don't respond to it, if you don't want that.
What you can say to that. It was just like purely overwhelming. No, did not feel safe going with the guy that put me in a headlock and kissed me after I told him about my...
Now he put you in a headlock. I remember you bringing that up last time. That he put you in a headlock. This is the problem with you, Lex, is that nobody could believe what you're saying here. Nobody. The reason that nobody can is because you have fumbled the bag so hard with the Dawn and SuperMega stuff that even something like this is hard for me to believe. That this dude put you in a headlock and tried making out with you. And you didn't try to, like, get the fuck off me or anything? Where's your agency? I hate to say that. I don't mean to sound like a victim blamer, but the problem is that Lex isn't really giving me a lot of fucking room to work with her stories.
Despite being the kindest and least accusatory out of all the videos addressed to me, many clocked him immediately on trauma dumping and centering.
You're going on Reddit. Oh my fucking god.
Least accusatory out of all the videos addressed to me, many clocked him immediately on trauma.
He only cries because he gets called out, not because he feels bad or guilty. That you have no idea what's going through that guy's head. So, like, how do you know that? Dumb bitch. This video and this dude could kick a bag of fucking rocks. It sounds like he's trying to use it his own trauma to make people pity him. Christ, I don't know how to feel. To be honest, I feel for Jim. I really don't think it was the ideal time to open that up about that. I hope he's to have a healthier behavior with other people moving forward. Any discomfort that I made her feel sounds an awful like Dawn's excuse. Why? Wait, what? Are you using the old SuperMega threads that are no longer viable to your argumentation? These people realized how stupid you are? Like, what? And I feel like that's a fair statement for him to make. Any discomfort that I made her feel. If he was like, shit, I cannot believe I made her feel that way, that's actually a good side that he... Isn't that what you want? Is somebody to recognize their faults and own up to those faults? I think you always get responses like this because if you're actually, I'm sorry I sexually assaulted someone, you openly admitted to committing a crime, it's all insincere legal bullshit. This is so stupid.
Trauma dumping and centering himself in the argument.
You know, Matt behind the camera, like, yes, great work, Jim, amazing. She added this on purpose! She's trying to poison the well that Matt is the one. I'm just gonna make an accusation here that is unfounded, but based on the information that's provided and how she said that Jim was the only video that genuinely apologized to her, this is what it leads me to believe.
Lex is almost 30.
Yeah, this is what leads me to believe that this might be real, is that she's trying to poison the well and say that Matt was the one that put Jim up to putting out that apology. I'm gonna be real. I believe that. I believe that right now. Unless Lex proves me otherwise, there was no reason to add this specific one. You know, Matt behind the camera was like, yes, great work, Jim. Amazing. I believe this is poisoning the well. I'm going to be honest. Really, Jim had an SA experience himself and had no problem making someone else sexually uncomfortable. You do realize that if somebody's wasted, they can make bad decisions, right? It happens all the time. Did Matt and Ryan write this apology too? Reliving her essay at the point I thought we were really hitting it off. You really got to be fucking kidding. I know I'm hitting it off with someone with really telling me their trauma or your dad died, time to propose. That's actually kind of funny.
Or whatever you want to call it in his apology. I say argument just because it became one, obviously. So that was pretty funny. Also the flies were fun. All right.
I'm glad that you're adding in unnecessary bullshit to your follow-up to your sexual assault cover-up. Bringing up flies. This shows that you're taking this super seriously.
So Matt and Ryan's videos came out on the 31st of July. And this is the official beginning of the invalidating, minimizing, and blame shifting. Matt and Ryan.
Oh, we're just going straight with, like, this is minimizing my experience. Now we're just going straight into minimizing my experience. This is... Whoo, here we go.
And decided to ignore most of the things that they could address from my video, instead opting to spend their respective videos defending themselves, despite claims against doing so.
What do you mean? They brought it up in the beginning that they didn't want to devalue your situation, which, to be honest, they should have, but they didn't. They owned up to their faults in that situation, and they also had to defend themselves from the bullshit that you and your friends concocted, and that didn't matter to the overall relative story that Dawn is a bad guy, in your words.
That they have been nothing short of supportive, with no responses to my claims of them having put me in bad situations because they neglected to be.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you chose to continue to stay at the Super Megaplex and overstay your welcome to the point where Matt was like, I'll help you try and find a place. Even though you have a home in Tennessee to go home to, I will help you find a place. You put yourself into these situations. You and Rev did that. I don't give a shit about Rev's fucking ex-wife situation that went on. I don't care. Holy shit, I'm a horrible person, but I don't care. You guys overstayed your welcome when they let you squat there for free. You did that. You did that. Not Matt and Ryan. You. Stop trying to put that on them just because they wanted you out of the house. I would have been a lot more brutal about it. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Supportive or communicative, and having attributed them to even extending my trauma after my assault. And he goes on to imply that
extending my trauma after my assault. When they accidentally booked you and Dawn for the same day and Matt owns up to the fact that he fucked up on that, that's extending your trauma on purpose? Really?
version of events are so far from reality that Matt felt the need to clarify multiple times that he wasn't trying to invalidate my sexual assault. The proof he uses to imply that my recollection of events aren't true are claims of him claiming that every quote I gave him not in writing was falsified.
And when it comes to Rav's text, Matt shows Rav's text out of order, such as implying Rav was confused as well.
Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down.
Or using text of Rav saying it wasn't as serious to support his argument.
Here you can see some text messages between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point.
Wait a minute. This was early on, before first call with Lex. I have more context into the situation now, by the way. Yeah, it seems less serious. I can bring you up to speed later, and it's just you and I.
Is between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point.
These texts were sent when Rav had only heard Don's side of the story, which was rough sex. Matt goes on and lies and says that Rav told him first.
I don't remember exactly, but I think Rav was the one who told me initially.
He literally says, I don't remember, but I think Rav is the one that told me first. He literally owns the fact that he probably doesn't remember this, the order of events. Just like how you conveniently forgot to bring up that Dawn choked you into unconsciousness. Come on, lady.
On my balcony one night, and he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex.
When Rav was only told Don's side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav directly around mid-June 2022. Also, Matt's including Rav when it really wasn't relevant for him to know what happened to me at the time. Don was...
But Rav was the one that... Wait.
And he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex.
When Rav was only told Don's side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav directly around mid-June 20...
You're blowing past
had
these
sexually
texts.
assaulted Lex.
When Rav was only...
You're blowing past these. I know Dawn told you a version of the story to Matt. Was it on his balcony? I'm rewriting some of the video. I asked because his references first hearing about the assault before I told him from you, and I know you asked Dawn about it as soon as you saw him. I'm asking to find out if you told him on his balcony, because if that's the case, what he's saying would mean he heard and believed Dawn's version of this. I knew it! Her position is that Matt and Ryan believed Dawn and invalidated her because they heard Dawn's story first. I fucking knew it. That's her position. Is that Matt and Ryan just blindly believed Dawn's side of the story and invalidated her and treated her like shit because they believed Dawn in the beginning. I fucking knew it. It says it right there. Possibly. He doesn't even remember. Possibly. But whatever it had been, it had nothing to do with sexual assault. Okay, so Rav doesn't even remember.
I told Don's side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav directly around mid-June.
Let's see here. Wednesday, November 1st. Do you think for sure Matt and Ryan went to the same room when Ryan called me? I know there's 2 rooms there, up there, and Matt is a snake. Okay, you're already making yourself out to be... You're not looking for the objective truth. You're straight up just telling people that he's a snake. This is a vendetta. This is a full-blown vendetta. But I figured I'd ask you if you knew for sure. Did he act differently after the call that makes you think he sat in, like vibe change? Just asking because I realized I didn't ask more info about the whole event of you being there when I called them because I was so shocked about everything. Lol. Yeah, okay. I don't expect you to know everything, but obviously they lied about it. Oh my god. They lied about it. Just off the bat, they lied about it. And I like to get all my facts as close as possible. This sounds like Ethan is online is texting Rav. I don't know for sure. I just know they both left the balcony, and it seemed like they got on the phone together. Either way, shortly after the call ended, all 3 of us, all three of us were, I formed basically. All three of us were basically like, fuck, that really sucks. Because up until that point, we didn't know the severity of the situation. So they both told you, or Ryan told you and Matt. Since they left the balcony for the call, I was separated from them for a while. I can't say with much certainty whether they were definitely together when you were talking to Ryan. But they got back together, if I recall correctly. I don't remember which of them broke the news to me exactly. So even Rav doesn't know what the fuck you're on about.
In 2022. Also, Matt's including Rav when it really wasn't relevant for him to know what happened to me at the time.
But the thing is that he heard the information and Rav was there. It's important to bring all of that up. Why are you trying to say that it doesn't matter about Rav? Rav was there. Rav literally made his own statements on the matter and completely fabricated shit or didn't remember shit. Like, what are you talking about?
Dawn was staying at Matt's house. It was only relevant for him and Ryan to know what happened so they could keep Dawn away from me. Either way,
Yes, but in the moment, they had a guy there and they were like, our friends are having a horrible situation here. What do we do? Are you trying to devalue something that is human nature, that you want to talk to a third party when they're in the house?
they co-sign themselves in their own confusion and inaction is by bringing up about how they had supposedly told Ross in their own volition about what Don had done.
We also updated those who we knew that were working with him of the situation.
And we did not cover this up from other people. For example, I was the one who told Ross over the phone because Ross had a show with Dawn and I felt like he needed to know this.
When that's just not the truth. I'm the one that told Rav to tell Ross what happened. And the only reason why Rav didn't tell him himself was...
Sorry. Wait, so are you under the assumption that Matt and Ryan also didn't talk to Rubber Ross? Wait a minute. That's not true. Because I told Rav to tell Ross. Or two things could be true at the same time. That Matt and Ryan reached out to Ross and said, hey, Dawn did this horrible thing. And that you and Rav also reached out to Ross. Two things can be true at the same time. Oh my God. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh. Two things can be true. Lex, it's not be all end all. Sorry, dude. I've been trying to talk to you for weeks, but you were never available before. It just so happens that I'm vacationing in the mountains right now without much signal ever. The short story is as follows. Last November, Dawn sexually assaulted Lex at Matt's place. Matt and Ryan no longer work with Dawn, neither do I. I thought you ought to know. Okay, that's pretty damn serious, as I suspected. I wish someone told me when I was going to start the show with him. Sorry, I didn't just text you this sooner, but I was much prefer to call. Still hope we can get back together once we're in LA.
Because we were in the mountains still for my mom's birthday. So we ran out of internet and Ross was worried and ended up calling Matt himself. And for that, the only reason why Ross ever figured out what happened between me and Dawn is because Ross got worried and had to call Matt himself, which Ross
has Ross come out to corroborate that.
Says himself in his stream that he called Matt himself. But for some reason,
let me see here. Probably someone else with a better summary, but I was replying to a deleted comment, so I'll post my summary here instead. Ross, Rubber Ninja, just talked about it on stream. Not really new information other than the YouTube show he had with Dawn was made because they were friends with Dawn, told Ross he was in a bad financial situation. Ross even gave him all the money from a sponsorship to help him out. Matt first told him he kicked Dawn out of the house for being a mess. Then, after Creator Clash, when Dawn went back to LA, he was acting weird and avoiding seeing Ross in person. Rav suggested to Ross that something happened but couldn't talk at the time due to traveling with Lex and having a bad signal. Ross called Matt. So this is the thing. This is you know what? Solid point. I will give that to Lex. If Ross reached out to Matt and Matt said he reached out to Ross first, there's a conflicting story there. But that still doesn't devalue the fact that they still did the right thing and told people. So, like, it doesn't really change that much of the initial story in of itself and Matt and Ryan. Yes, does it add an asterisk next to it now? Sure. But they still handled it in a poor way. That doesn't change the criticism of Matt and Ryan. Ross didn't talk about the situation since it was Lex's story to tell. He just replied to people asking about it that he was made aware of something and had to kill it. Edit, he also said other stuff coming out about Matt and Ryan is new to him as well. he seems really involved with these people, except him knowing not really the same circles.
Reason Matt and Ryan take it upon themselves to make it sound as if they went through their own volition to tell Ross, when really, especially Ryan, has nothing to do with telling anyone. While watching this, keep in mind that this is the supposed motive of them getting us to meet and talk it out, despite the whole point of me calling to speak about my assault was to ask them to keep me away from Dawn.
To be honest, Ryan and I were scared of this whole situation. Me and Ryan organized a meeting.
I love that they add force themselves. Like, that's not what everyone got away with, like, already. Everyone knew that. That's not something that was covered up. They made a stupid decision and that they were looking out for their interest on that specific situation, right? But they didn't invalidate your sexual assault. They didn't go out of their way to tell people, don't hang out with Lex. She's a liar about sexual assault. No one did that. They poorly mismanaged the situation. They poorly mismanaged the fact that you were going to come to the Super Megaplex while Dawn was still in the area and living at that house at the time. That's not a crazy state. That's not a crazy thing.
With him at our office where we sat him down and confronted him about this. We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on
what was that text.
That night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very...
And they I knew it! This is mired and poisoning in the well, that they just believed him. Dude, they got his side of the story first. They got his side of the story first. Nani, I'm going to be real. Lex's drug charge, it's not important. I'm going to be honest. It's not important to this situation. I appreciate you digging, but it's like, it's just not important to this situation. They believed him so, but like, I don't get. They got his side of the story first, then you told them. They got two sides of the story, and the stories weren't matching up. That's not a problem. That's two people that don't know what's going on, and two people with conflicting stories. Of course there's gonna be confusion. Did you just want them to take both you and Dawn at your word? That's not how a situation like this gets settled or handled. You need both sides to come to an objective conclusion.
Different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, which I now see was an absolutely, terrible, terrible move, suggesting that.
I'm gonna be real. There's nothing wrong with you guys being critical of the situation. Nothing wrong with that.
Explained away the assault, excusing it as a miscommunication of boundaries in an intimate moment. And we told Don if he truly believed that, if he truly believed that it was a boundary miscommunication, then he should apologize to Lex directly. This was, of course, the wrong decision.
But you didn't know what was going on.
A victim and an abuser, telling them to, maybe to talk to each other. Horrible.
I have text.
Wait. So you're like mad that they admitted that it was a horrible situation, that they asked you guys for Dawn to reach out and apologize to you. They admitted that it was bad, and you're upset at that? You got them. They made a bad decision. There you go. But that doesn't mean that their channel needs to be fucking nuked from orbit. It doesn't mean that Matt and Ryan are maliciously horrible people.
Messages from Matt saying they talked with Dawn and it went well, and we had a
It was a good talk. It was a good talk. Okay, so what? They had a talk.
phone call about it. So that's funny that you tell me that it's fine, and then you go on YouTube and tell the public that you were confused because Matt called me and told me.
What do you mean? It was a good talk. They got what they needed out of the conversation, but they still are confused. There's nothing wrong with that.
As such, and gave no indication of being confused. So they either lied to me at the time, or they lied to you to change whatever you would think.
And the whole time, I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex. And if I had known...
Yes, because they weren't in the room.
I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with...
Once Dawn was at the house, he did know. Not only did he do nothing, he posted Dawn on Twitter. This picture is still up.
Okay, yeah, he was at the house. And they still looked at it as a miscommunication at the time. Why are you pulling up old tweets about this? When they still, and in their videos, said they didn't know if it was a bedroom mishap or what. They were still kind of cool with the guy, unfortunately for you. And they didn't know what happened. They weren't in the room. They had two conflicting stories to go off of.
I would not have housed him.
And then, despite going in depth about why they tried to get Don and I to speak, Matt says this.
I never intended for them to come in contact with each other. As soon as I realized my mistake, I told Don he had to leave the office. And for a little more context, here is me having a discussion with Rav where I'm realizing my mistake.
I find it funny that Matt calls this a mistake so many times, considering that I told him what day I would be in town. So it's really pretty much up to the viewer whether or not you want to believe him, which is a great excuse considering that he didn't actually have a good reason to do it besides selfish ones.
Besides... Dude, I'm gonna be real here. Lex, you are an assumptive bitch. Matt literally says, I completely fumbled the bag on this one. Like, I gotta take his word on that one. Same thing for all of this shit. You literally admit it's up to the viewer to interpret it. Okay, I interpret it as Matt completely fumbling the bag and forgetting that you were coming in to the office at the time when Dawn was still there. What now? 99% of the viewership also agrees with me on that one. So, like, what is that going to prove?
Our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Don out. There's no world.
What?
Selfish ones.
Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Don out. There's no...
Huh?
Cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Don out. There's no...
If Matt admitted to knowing better, he would have admitted to helping Dawn out. What? He just said we fumbled it. And we fucked up. What? How is that helping Dawn? Even if they did admit that we needed to do, we should have known better. How does that equate to them purposely helping Dawn throughout this situation? How does that equate? It doesn't. That's fucking crazy.
A world in which getting Dawn to talk it out with me is not helping Dawn out, especially when my call was specifically about not wanting to see or talk to Dawn. Over and over, they take matters into their hands when it really wasn't their business to do so. They did the exact opposite of what I had ever asked them to do.
Their actions follow the logic of people that don't think my assault was a big deal. Ryan doesn't mention anything about trying to emotionally blackmail me with being sad at his birthday party after seeing Dawn the same day because of the choices he made, and using me being upset at their lack of communication after that, using that to reject to speak to me because I was upset, to hold my own emotions against me. Ryan held my feelings against me for how he handled my trauma. In their videos, they imply I wanted to keep it private with no proof.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
But thankfully for them, I'm very consistent. And I've specifically spoken to other friends about how they were conversations that I wanted to have in person, not in private. Those are two different words. In their videos, they...
Oh no, she's trying to fight my argument.
That was public.
But thankfully, I wanted to keep my own emotions against me.
Hold on.
Ryan held my feelings against me for how he handled my trauma. In their videos, they imply I wanted to keep it private with no proof.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
But thankfully for them, I'm very consistent. And I've specifically spoken to other friends about how they were conversations that I wanted to have in person, not in private.
Are we playing word semantics here? Are we? I wish Psych Draws was still here. She has that clip when we were arguing with Ethan. I fucking Christ, I gotta find that goddamn tweet because it's a specific timestamp. It's a specific timestamp, and it's actually annoying the shit out of me. She essentially said that she didn't want it screenshotable, phone calls, or anything to turn it into drama. Which ergo would mean that she wanted to keep it private between these people. And between the people she was telling, not to go public. She's obfuscating what the actual argument is. I just remembered the exact words.
They're two different words. In their videos, they...
Oh my god, you fucking bitch.
lie about cutting off Dawn personally and professionally, and they don't say when specifically.
Again, after some tiptoeing, we ended up cutting ties with Dawn both personally and professionally. We cut all contact with him.
In response to what Lex told us, we removed Don as our channel artist and we cut contact with him 100%.
In August, Ryan liked Don's art, and it was posted into the Don channel in the SuperMega server that was still there, and was there until it was deleted. Matt goes on to showing a...
Wow, we cut ties with him. Lex, proof. They liked his artwork. They liked the tweet. They liked the tweet, which ergo means that they're still cool with him. And also, it's in a Discord. Like, every content creator is constantly looking at their Discord. Okay. So evil, he likes SpongeBob art. You want a clip where she says this? Yes, I need to see that clip, because I'm trying to remember the exact words. And I know I got it as close as I could with that.
Anonymous Discord screenshots from an anonymous Discord of, quote, anti-SuperMega people who write, quote, child sexual assault fanfiction as proof of a conspiracy against SuperMega by Leighton and Too Mad, who is dead now. And also...
Wait, Too Mad is involved? Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. I don't remember Too Mad being involved in... This is a piece of gossip that's big enough to deal with our sponsor. Want to drop SuperMega? Our friend is blank. His friend is friends with Too Mad, and Too Mad hates Matt. Yeah, Too Mad also said that isn't real. I don't hate Matt. I remember that tweet before Too Mad shit went out of control. I remember that. Too Mad literally said, I don't hate Matt. Did you forget that shit? It's 23 minutes in, Chris. Thank you, Shinji.
Through that again. So when I was planning on having him come to the Airbnb, my thought process was, if I could just talk to him in real life about this, there wouldn't be a need to do any of this. He lives in Germany. I live in the South at this point. You just have to go so out of the way to like bump into each other that way that there was no harm in me just like pulling him aside at some point and being like, hey, you remember this? It wasn't cool. Let's not talk anymore, or whatever, you know, whatever line of dialogue. So it's not something that's screenshotable, something that other people can like speculate or be like, that's fake, or I didn't want people doing that to me again. I don't know.
You wanted... private. That is what the line of logic of somebody hearing this shit is, to keep it private between the people that know what's going on. How is that not wanting to keep something private? You didn't want screenshotable, no phone calls, none of this shit. You wanted to have conversations with people in private about it. Private. Dumb bitch.
Against SuperMega by Leighton and Too Mad, who is dead now. And also, he immediately shit
Also, you are completely wrong
on me as soon as my video came out, and blocked me, and now he's dead. So Matt doesn't know I'm a child sex assault survivor, so...
oh my god. Matt doesn't know I'm a CSA survivor. You know, Too Bad was involved in this thing. Shows proof that Too Bad's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then goes into how she's a CSA survivor.
To Mad back from the graves, Lamau. Screw Lex.
That's strange that I would hang out in a pedophile Discord. I find that weird that I would do that. That's news
A pedophile Discord?
to me. I found that out when everybody else did, because I didn't know I did that. Matt tried...
They never said it was you. They said that there was a group of people that were anti-SuperMega that Leighton was working with. I don't even remember your name being brought up during that. What? Also check 4056. She says the same thing. All right, so let me double check 4056.
Assaulted me, his friend and employee. He said SuperMega's my magnum opus and I would hate for something to mess it up. He said that multiple times. I remember I was sitting on like the curb of the parking lot of where I was staying at the time, outside, just like staring, because I never in a million years would have expected Matt, my friend Matt, to say something like that to me. It's like a switch flipped in him or something. Like he just immediately became different. And I purposely told
both of them. I'm calling you because I don't want this in a text. I don't want this screenshotable. I don't want this to be a big thing.
I want to keep it private. That's what you're saying. I don't want it screenshotable. I don't want to call. I want to talk to people in person privately. Hey, Ethan. I know you're watching this because Ethan watches everybody who shits on his girlfriend. Ethan, how is that not trying to keep things private? Okay? Thank you, Shinji.
It's very hard to make his proof look convincing by highlighting the date of the email, which was April 21st, over and over and over. Mind you, that day, I had gauze in my nose from surgery, and I was in Tennessee, so I don't really know what that's supposed to mean.
Did you completely forget that that section of the video is talking about how Leighton was associating with an anti-SuperMega group? That these people were crazy? That they lied about Too Mad? Are you just completely ignoring that part? That section was on how Leighton is a snake? Are we forgetting that part? You fucking dumb bitch. Are we forgetting that part? Enla, hello. Shout out to Enla.
Anyway, it completely ignores the fact that nobody knows where it's from, who it's from, if it's real or fabricated, and Matt makes...
If it's real or fabricated. Okay, so now she's trying to show that... Now she's running defense for Leighton without saying it. 5 seconds.
no comment about how most of it...
It's just like... Bro, you're literally trying to run defense for Leighton now without saying it. I swear to God that's what's happening.
Is blurred with no reason given. I cannot...
There's no reason given why it's blurred. Maybe there's something in there that can't be shown on YouTube. He did say that there was photos and fake information in there that might be a problem. Oh no. Bublax needs to stop fighting Joshua Moon.
Understate how blurred this email is. Anyway, flimsy evidence aside,
No, I know she threw Leighton under the bus in the original description. After everybody started pushing back, they had to distance themselves from Leighton, even though they promoted Leighton and said his story was valid. Remember that part.
Can't blindside someone with information they already knew about. One of the things I find that's interesting that Matt decides to do is he shows our second to last text.
Wait, Bubby's fighting Null? Why? Well, how do I word this properly? Null is essentially shitting on Tipster and Bublax because of the Toastify segment where Tipster and Bublax have a falling out over Keffels. And Null says a lot of things that Boblax doesn't agree with, and Boblax quote tweeted him, and now they're in a beef. And Diorio's like, "Please God, stop."
Message exchange and words it as if it's our last time we spoke, when in reality, he showed the last text messages before Leighton got fired to support his argument.
That communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who was a close friend of hers.
Because I spoke to him 10 days before Creator Clash, before I saw him in person. That was April 5th of last year, 2023. I did not respond to his last message because I didn't feel like talking, because I was crowdfunding a sinus surgery that I would get done immediately after.
Hey, get a job. Get a job. Stop crowdfunding. Get a job. I need to listen to this part. Hold on. I need to re-listen to this. This is interesting.
Anyway, flimsy evidence aside, you can't blindside someone with information they already knew about. One of the things I find that's interesting that Matt decides to do is he shows our second to last text message exchange and words it as if it's our last time we spoke, when in reality, he showed the last text messages before Leighton got fired to support his argument.
That communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who was a close friend of hers.
Because I spoke to him 10 days before Creator Clash, before I saw him in person.
All right, Sunday, Ethan, told me about what happened to the nuke. Just realized it happened on your birthday. Thanks, like, lol. I just noticed 2 of your YouTube accounts are still signed out of my living room TV. Want me to sign out of them? Oh, yeah, sure. Gotcha. Will do. I'm home from work. What's new? How life been? Are you back in TN? Signed out. Okay. Wait a minute. Trying to be cordial. He says that I noticed that your YouTube channels are still signed into my TV, and he wanted to let you know he signed out. So, So what if he used the Leighton part to support the argument? But that's the important part, is that your relationship became strained after Leighton was fired. More so. That makes more sense than showing some random shit that doesn't matter. That he's just like, hey, I saw 2 of your YouTube accounts were still signed in here. Want me to sign out? Small talk. And telling you that he signed out. Like, what the? And you even responded, LOL, yeah, sure.
That was April 5th of last year, 2023. I did not respond to his last message because I didn't feel like talking. Because
aside from the fact that they already declined to speak previously about this, oh my God.
I was crowdfunding a sinus surgery that I would get done immediately after Creator Clash, which the surgery was on. Creator Clash was April 15th, and my sinus surgery was on the 20th. So I was drawing art to crowdfund for that surgery. Matt ends his video with pretty much calling everything a personal vendetta. And despite like
which it is, you made it about the fact that they made you go homeless, that they didn't take care of you when you guys got robbed, that they didn't do enough for you about the Dawn situation. It was a personal vendetta. And before Matt even made the video, people were coming to the conclusion that it was a personal vendetta. So it wasn't just Matt and Ryan saying it, it's everybody, because you made it look like a personal vendetta. So did Leighton, so did Nick is Not Green, so did Peethan, so did Morg Pie, so did Rav. You guys did that to yourselves.
Off that like, oh, well, I'm not trying to validate Lex. Like, no one hears that.
She changed the story about SuperMega helping her with the housing. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked.
Obviously. So
Femias, get the fuck out of my chat.
This feels
like I don't get why you come around.
Stuff. Matt's video implies that I did not speak up for my own empowerment, but for a personal vendetta, implying that sexual assault and a cover-up by people who I thought were helping me somehow wasn't enough.
I'm in no way saying that her coming forward with the Dawn situation is a ploy by Leighton to get us canceled. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected.
The messaging in their videos had people walking away thinking that either I was exaggerating about at least some parts of my story, or that I was simply lying about everything. Nick's follow-up video, August 2nd, Nick decided to make a follow-up video where Nick Nick followed up and just gave a summary of what had happened since my video, or his last video, I guess. He didn't ask me about anything or tell me that he was making it. If he had asked me about it, he would have found out that I hadn't even watched Matt or Ryan's videos, or Jim's, I couldn't think of his name, or Jim's video to that point. So I didn't even know what was being said till Ryan's Twitter post in October. So that was what made me actually watch their videos. So
he didn't run it by, Nick is Not Green didn't run it by me. But I didn't watch it. Wait till you get to the I can't wait. I've seen tweets about it. I've seen tweets about the Daniel part. And I genuinely want to fucking lose my mind. We haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm going to lose my shit. I already know. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I already know. Okay. He didn't loop in with me about a video about my situation, even though he looked like an idiot making the video, and I look like an idiot with my video.
Up until this point, I had no idea what was going on.
He did, however, bring up the text not mentioned by Matt, which I appreciate. Although I think by the time Nick's video came out, people had already been encouraged to connect the dots by Matt, so I'm not sure how well received it even was. Nick ends the video.
I don't know how well received this video was. It was bad. Did Nick delete his videos on this? So no, he privated all of them and then rescinded these videos. He basically disavowed all of these videos after the fact because he poorly handled this situation, poorly handled everything, and then on top of that, kind of disavowed Lex and Ethan, and even said they convinced me to go forward with this story. Now Lex is trying to say, I never did something like that. I didn't even know about it. He never consulted me about it. Somebody's lying here. And I think I know who it is. Even though I don't like Nick is Not Green, I'm pretty sure that Lex is lying and making Nick look less credible. I swear to God, I don't even like Nick is Not Green. I dislike him as a content creator. I dislike everything he fucking stands for. But it sounds like Lex is totally lying and used him, like you said, Enla, as a useless idiot. That's what it looks like to me right now.
by talking about himself a little bit too much, and he says it's the last time he's making a video about my assault. Unfortunately, that was not the truth.
After this, Matt, Ryan, Justin, and redacted content creator, I won't say, went to Disney.
I won't say their name.
And I never heard from Justin again. On the 26th of August.
Yeah, it's almost like Justin realized that his immediate knee-jerk reaction to apologizing to you was wrong. He's a snake. I cannot believe Matt and Ryan rehired him.
Is when I unlisted my video. Now this is about a month, almost exactly a month after I posted my video. Basically, anybody that was supportive filtered themselves out, and the reactionary people that were there to just like make content out of it started flooding in and
oh god, here we go. We're just the reactionary people. We're not the people that trolled over everything you've said, everything you've done, everything Nick did, everything that Ethan said. We didn't look into Rav. We didn't look into Morgue Pie story and pick that apart. We were just reactionary to you and you alone. Okay. Here we go, baby. This is the part I've been waiting for. This is the part that I've been waiting for. It's time!
Documenting drama, and it fueled a lot of
drama? Documenting drama? You're the one that made this video. We are allowed to publicly flog you if something doesn't match. We're allowed to do that. Welcome to the internet, where your words are under scrutiny if you fuck up. Welcome. Welcome. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, Tom didn't do it as a drama video. Tom's video was actually a very good documentary on the whole situation. And how all of you lied. Me, Chud, Lyrics, Sleepy, Turkey Tom. All of us picked it apart, and others, because it was shit. Your story was bad. It was bad from beginning to end. Ethan's involvement was bad beginning to end. Nick is not green. Bad beginning to end. Until he realized that he was used as a useful idiot. Morgue Pie is a fucking whore that got mad that Matt fucked her and then dumped her. Leighton is a BBD manic that got upset about the Chuck E. Cheese joke. I'm sorry that we just decided to cover your bullshit.
Very victim-blaming comments that at the time was not.
Okay, so now you're blaming all of us for these victim-blaming comments. Your own story did that. Once the stupid-ass crowd, and I'm saying this to all the SuperMega fans that fucking bought into this dog shit, and all of you Nick is not green fans, the minute all of you stupid little fucks started looking at it a little bit differently, that's not on us. That's not on us. That's on the audience. That's on these stupid chuckle fucks that completely and utterly didn't look into things and heard one story and just decided to cancel SuperMega out of nowhere. These are the people that you wanted to garner to your side. These people.
Prepared to handle. I started to get harassed more and more by right-wing commentary, reactionary.
Right? Yes. Keep calling us right-wing like that even fucking matters. Chud isn't even right-wing. Most commentary channels don't give a shit about politics. I would say about 90% of commentary channels genuinely don't give a ounce of a fuck about politics. I'm gonna ask my roommate. Hey, you, question. Am I a political person?
No.
Do I care about politics?
Hell no.
When I cover things, do I insert politics into it?
Zero.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Hey, bitch! Most people aren't political.
Bastards. Anyway, getting awful comments when I was just not in the mental space to be able to handle them. And without having watched Matt and Ryan's videos until October, I was ignorant to the fact that they had pretty much spent the whole video defending themselves instead of saying anything supportive. And pretty much...
Okay, I have to address the Christmas tree allegations because this is the 5th time I've seen it. I was lazy. I'm too lazy to put it away. I don't want to find the box and put it back in there, and I'm looking for a new place to live. I'm too fucking lazy. Leave me alone.
saying I lied about almost everything except for the assault. Matt and Ryan's videos until October, I was ignorant to the fact that they had pretty much spent the whole video defending themselves instead of saying anything supportive, and pretty much saying I lied about almost everything except for the assault, and fueling pretty much all the talking points that came to the commentary community. It became pretty overwhelming for me. And
you do realize that Destiny, a liberal, left-leaning liberal, also thought your story was bullshit. Are you just ignoring that part? Are you just ignoring that Destiny, one of the biggest left Twitch streamers, not Twitch streamers, just a streamer in general, one of the biggest people involving the leftist sphere, also thought your story was dog shit? Tom didn't even put politics into his documentary about you. This is how these politically brain rot freaks try to justify getting shit on. They always make it about politics. Always about politics. Wait, why is there 2 femiozes in chat, and why is one of them a wrench?
Careful, Chris. You're considered a right-wing commentary channel by her off-the-wall deflecting standards.
Yeah, I know,
Lex
right?
and Morgpie are so mad when called out.
I just cannot believe the stupidity I'm dealing with right now. It's just hurting. It's hurting my brain, dude.
The mental state I was in that I was still trying to heal from. So about a month later, I felt that the video had at least served its purpose within like the people that would have wanted to see it. And so I privated it. I was ready to heal, as I had stated in my previous video. That was how I ended it. I was ready to heal and I wanted to move on. And so
no, you unlisted it and deleted and removed your comments. And I shit you not when I say this, because you got pushback. I don't believe you for a goddamn second that you're turning around and saying, well, I just wanted to move on and heal. Yeah, you also removed comments after Destiny reacted to it, and everyone else made their videos on it. You updated the description to throw Leighton under the bus, and still kept the video up. Then you unlisted it and privated it. So don't bullshit me here. Don't try to retcon all the other stuff that happened during that time frame.
I took initiative on what I had stated before. On the 26th, the same day I privated my video, Kelly messaged me on Twitter, and this one I do have a screenshot of, but she was checking in on me, let me know that I could talk to her, whatever. Kelly acknowledges that I must have been having a hard time, presumably in reference to the harassment I was getting, and offered reassurance and asked how I was doing. I updated her and told her that I was traveling and I was seeing friends and that I would have liked talking, and I asked to make a call, and she declined and said she wanted to keep texting, and I didn't really know what to think of that, so I didn't respond, and she later unfollowed me. I don't have a date for that, but if I get one, because I have a screenshot of when I noticed.
Since then,
Don's blocked me, Kelly blocked me around the same time. Don changed his username twice. Anyway, Ryan's Twitter post came on October 14th of last year. So 3 months after I posted my video and a month and a half after it had been unlisted. Despite claims of not trying to diminish my assault, Ryan goes on to make a post tagging everyone who he perceives as having wronged him except for Don, the guy who assaulted me. He calls me a liar.
Because you are all liars. All of you. About how you overinflated what Matt and Ryan did. And you dragged Daniel into it. You guys did something bad. Are we about to fucking go through why you did these stupid things? Are you going to acknowledge that you guys propped up Leighton? A liar? A BPD manic individual that doesn't know what the fuck is going on? Are you gonna prop up the bullshit video where they called Matt a rape apologist by Nick is Not Green? Are you going to acknowledge the fact that you and your boyfriend got high as shit and watched the sub count go down for SuperMega and promoted Nick's video that you now think is bad journalism? Are you going to acknowledge those things? Are you going to acknowledge Morgpie essentially lying about what actually happened between her and Matt? Come on.
liar, everyone else a liar that spoke out on claims.
Bro, Chris is bashed a right winger and Nick a left winger. Yeah, I hate all politics. Fuck all these politically brain rot pieces of human debate pedophile garbage that keep popping up in the world.
We spoke on Daniel's suicide. Ryan uses angry, passive-aggressive language to guilt and shame everyone involved that merely mentioned Daniel's name, liking it to having spoken badly on Daniel himself, using quotes and references to my post and video that isn't about Daniel.
Hold the fuck on. You brought up Daniel in your video. You dragged Daniel into this. So did Leighton.
Chris is so right-wing, he trolls synthetic man as a gay op.
So true, QTV. That is accurate. You were the one that started the allegation that they would make jokes about Daniel's suicide. You're the one that brought it up, same as Nick is not green. Are you trying to retcon what you said in this video? It's shocking that you don't even remember what you and your little cabal group of friends said. That is shocking to me. I'm gonna be real. I didn't think you were gonna go down this route, but here we are.
Other suicide attempts close to me that I mentioned several times in my 2-hour video.
Also, the specific event is mentioned in the text post that summarizes my video on Twitter as well. Just making it like pretty clear what I'm talking about.
In this post, Ryan does not clarify any of the assumptions that he was making about my video description, whatever, saying whatever that means, assuming everything he didn't know about was about Daniel. For some reason, Ryan's retelling of events and quotes attributed to me are spaced out throughout the post, and in doing so, makes it seem as if I went on a tirade about how his friend committed suicide and not a part of my 2-hour video that is—
You literally said that Matt and Ryan are horrible people because they made jokes about Daniel's suicide. Let's listen, shall we?
Did Matt?
Let's pull that up. Thank you, Shinji. Thank you. I wanna pull that up real quick. 128:46, right here.
I don't think they relate to anything bad that we've been through. And the one thing they could, which was Rav's partner attempting to like take themselves, was Daniel, their friend Daniel. Matt's like at least twice in front of me, separate times while hanging out with him, has called Daniel a coward. So no, they don't care about suicide. They don't give a shit about suicide. They only give a shit about themselves and who they can make jokes of that are under them that they can get away with. We know that your intentions are mainly to air grievances with us, so it feels—
I want you to listen to that again. Okay? I want you to listen to that shit again.
I think they relate to anything bad that we've been through. And the one thing they could, which was Rav's partner attempting to like take themselves, was Daniel, their friend Daniel. Matt's like at least twice in front of me, separate times while hanging out with him, has called Daniel a coward. So no, they don't care about suicide. They don't—
Now listen carefully.
does not clarify any of the assumptions that he was making about my video description, whatever, saying whatever that means, assuming everything he didn't know about
details like it's Star Wars.
Was about Daniel. For some reason, Ryan's retelling of events and quotes attributed to me are spaced out throughout the post, and in doing so, makes it seem as if I went on a tirade about how his friend committed suicide.
Partner attempting to like take themselves was Daniel, their friend Daniel. Matt's like at least twice in front of me, separate times while hanging out with him, has called Daniel a coward. So no, they don't care about suicide. They don't.
Oh you're so fucking stupid. It hurts. You're so stupid, Lex.
And not a part of my 2-hour video that is less than 15 seconds long. He passive aggressively acknowledges that he did not want to talk about it, which I had no idea about aside from the fact that he rejected talking about things over a year ago. So I'm not sure how I would have known unless I could read your mind, Ryan. And despite that, my quote is actually
the same thing can be said about you, that you wanted Matt and Ryan to make a public statement about it and you didn't like that. How are they supposed to read your mind where you were the one that's saying, I want to keep things that aren't not recorded and I don't want a trace of this. I want to just talk to people privately about it.
to Matt, to which you both had the same justification, to which I say, that's fine, but if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's gonna be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way of having—
You're such a fucking snake. Another lie by Lexus said that Ryan doesn't disavow when he literally did. Let's pull this up. I really don't want to be writing this, but I feel like I need to address something that's been eating away at my mental state. A few months ago, some individuals came forward with their issues with me, Matt, and our channel, SuperMega. While I've acknowledged these criticisms in a response video and still believe that some of their points are valid, there was one topic brought to the table that has been weighing heavily on my mind. Before I begin, I want to say I'm in no way trying to take away from Lex coming forward to speak about her essay by our former channel artist, Dawn. Diminishing credibility for that is not the goal of this statement, and I ask others not to use it as a tool to do so. How did Matt and Ryan diminish your sexual assault again, Lex?
Found out that Ryan was uncomfortable was when I read it when the rest of me and his 300,000 followers did. Rather than having the chance to have spoken to him in private before going public, an offer I've extended multiple times when apparently I shouldn't have. In this post—
Why would anyone want to talk to you after you've made such crazy accusations against them? Why would they ever talk to you?
Ryan passive-aggressively demands I seek accountability, naming out the amount—
Yes, you were a bitch for bringing Daniel into shit. You and Nick. You were an asshole. Why would they want to talk to you after you brought their friend of years who committed suicide into drama? Why would you do that?
Of views a video stream had, which doesn't really work for Ryan when he has more followers on every platform than anyone involved. You know, really make—
Oh my God, she's doing the punching down argument. You've gotta be kidding me. Really? The punching down argument? It's not really fair because Ryan just has way more followers than I do. Are you kidding me? That's the argumentation we're going with. They just have more followers. It's wrong for them to just punch down on me. Punching down doesn't exist. It doesn't. If you make a public statement, you could get shit on for it. It's that easy.
Sense coming from the guy that was sexting fans that he doesn't understand power dynamics, though. Not very surprising that you didn't learn much in 3 months if you were just throwing blame the whole time, because that's not indicative of a man who's trying to change. Ryan—
Really crazy that you said that after you being the one that refused to get a job, go back home, continue to squat at the Super Megaplex, buy a car when you said that you were broke, went on a road trip with said car, got pissed off when you couldn't continue to stay and mooch off of people. Kind of crazy that you would say that, but sure, let's go with that.
Doesn't mind going directly to Twitter about an unlisted video of mine to demand apology for mean comments that some freaks probably—
What?
If you were just throwing blame the whole time, because that's not indicative of a man who's trying to change. Ryan doesn't mind going directly to Twitter about an unlisted video of mine.
Ryan doesn't mind going directly to Twitter. Who went to Twitter first? You or Ryan? Who started this bullshit? You or Ryan? You went to Twitter first with these stupid fucking allegations. You did that. You. You're the one that made it public. Oh my God.
Demand apology for mean comments that some freaks, probably Destiny's audience, made on Daniel's memorial.
I gotta relax a minute. I'm like getting mad. I'm like getting furious. I need a water. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna get a water. Jesus Christ. How in the actual do you equate Destiny's audience to being the ones that went to Daniel's memorial video? Where's the proof of that? Because it sounds like you're trying to cover for the people that went after Matt and Ryan and trying to blame Destiny. Because Destiny was one of the larger creators at first, other than because me, Chud, and Larix, and Sleepy are not big creators in the slightest compared to Destiny. And you're just pissed that Destiny shit on you. You made it up. This is bullshit. This is a lie.
Ryan makes it clear that he doesn't understand what accountability means by passive-aggressively stating that he's taken his, now I need to take mine. Like,
yes! He owned up to his shit. He even... He acknowledged all of his wrongdoings. And you not apologizing for bringing up Daniel is what he's talking about.
Okay. For what? He doesn't even say for what. And so any idiot from a third person is going to be like, oh, she lied then. This was the second time he's held my feelings against...
Let's see this. We were told that y'all are still upset. She keeps bringing this up. How is that blackmail? It's him asking you a question and acknowledging if it's not about that, then yeah, there's been an off vibe for a while.
My feelings about him against me to guilt me to try and gain control over a situation. And I should have known that if Ryan was willing to hold my own feelings about my assault against me in private, that he would have no qualms with claiming everyone's a liar and using a trauma against me. Ryan's interpretation of me leaves no wiggle room for other interpretations, despite claiming not knowing, for example, why I took...
Hey, you idiot. Everyone was covering all of this stuff before Matt and Ryan even made acknowledgements, videos, or tweets about it. We already thought that you were bullshit. We thought you were a complete and utter fucking clown, and you still are.
The video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all, to assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way.
No, you criticized Matt and Ryan and how they handled their own version of trauma for suicide. And you said that Matt and Ryan, on occasions, made jokes about Daniel's suicide to you, or calling Daniel a coward. Which, even if they did, that's them trying to go through their own process. You have no right to shit on that. You have no right to try and insert yourself in saying they're horrible people for that.
Assume that I was speaking on Daniel is disgusting.
You did speak on Daniel! Do I have to bring this clip back up?
You don't do enough that it's like a big deal, an excuse enough to that.
Where is it?
That.
Where is it? Where is it? I need this part. She had a fucking Starbucks coffee in her hand. Here it is. Got it.
I don't think they relate to anything
Thank you, Gaji.
that we've been through. And the one thing they could, which was Rav's partner attempting to like take themselves, was Daniel, their friend Daniel. Matt's like at least twice in front of me, separate times we'll hang out with him, has called Daniel a coward. So no, they don't care about suicide.
For example, why I took the video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all, to assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way.
No, what you did is you used Daniel as a weapon because you tried to portray Matt and Ryan as bad people. Like, come on. Stop bullshitting.
To assume that I was speaking on Daniel is disgusting. Did you even watch my video?
You did speak on Daniel. You spoke on Matt and Ryan and how you thought that it was horrible that they called Daniel a coward. You dumb fucking whore. Like, you brought Daniel into it, and then Nick is not Green brought Daniel into it. You spoke on Daniel. You invoked his name. The original title was SuperMega's Bad People or some shit. I don't even remember the original title. I feel like I'm watching a Keffels video right now. That somebody that continuously tries to retcon the truth. Hi, Xylee. I'm losing my mind.
Because there's no other way to take how you speak in your post besides that I was talking about Daniel when I was talking about how he was being spoken about by y'all who are still alive.
Which is up to them to talk about it in the way that they did. You have no right to bring up a dead man in a video of you trying to portray people in a bad light. You have no right. Zero fucking right. I said the same thing about Ethan with Keemstar and Etika, and I said the same thing when Keffels used Tony against Ethan. You have no fucking right to bring up the dead. You don't. It's scummy, disgusting, and an obfuscation of what actually you wanted to say because you wanted to make them look as bad as possible. I do not feel sympathetic for the amount of shit that you got once everyone started really looking into it. I don't feel sympathetic to you. I don't feel sympathetic to Leighton. I don't feel sympathetic to Ethan. I don't feel sympathetic to Mordecai or any of these fucking degenerates. None of you. None of you. I think you got what's coming to you. You got what was coming to you. You did that. You and your little group.
Speaking in a disgusting way, which I didn't even accuse Ryan of. I've only accused Matt of because I heard...
Yes, but you said they don't care about suicide. Let me replay the words back.
Partner attempting to like take themselves was Daniel, their friend Daniel. Matt's like at least twice in front of me, separate times we'll hang out with him, has called Daniel a coward. So no, they don't care about...
They don't care about suicide. They. A word to describe two or more people. They. You are the most brain rot human being I've ever covered on my fucking channel. I've covered some fucking brain rot people. But Lex, you take the cake as one of the most brain rot people. Just fucking dense. You have nothing in your skull. It's nothing but hot air and being gassed up by your pathetic soy-filled bitch of a boyfriend. I can't get over this. I have no nice words to say about you.
Him say it twice, and I will stand by that. From how passive-aggressively Ryan words his post, I don't know if Ryan understands why victims speak out at all. They speak out on what happened as if I'm only bringing it up because I'm mad, a personal vendetta.
Which you did. The rest of the video involving SuperMega, that you went homeless, that you couldn't find a place to live, that you got kicked out and they made you homeless, that they treated you like shit, that they purposely tried to make Dawn talk to you. That is the later part of the video, a vendetta. And then you also promoted Nick is Not Green's video, which called Matt a rape apologist. You also promoted Leighton's bullshit story until you got pushback on that and had to disavow Leighton. It was a vendetta until you couldn't get away with it. If you stuck on the Dawn stuff, you probably you wouldn't have got as much shit as you're getting right now. If you stuck to the Dawn shit. If you just stuck to that and said, Matt and Ryan fumbled the bag on this, people would be like, okay, fine. That's bad that Matt and Ryan did that. But no, you had to go into a bunch of petty bullshit after the fact.
They phrase everything as if this event happened in a vacuum, rather than this being the eventual outcome of pledging support to someone, then ignoring and gaslighting them when they want to talk. Making the choice to say that everything I said except for the assault was a lie and putting it into question. And also...
They acknowledged your assault. They acknowledged that. That's fine. They did that. But everything else that happened after that, there's conflicting stories. There's conflicting evidence to what you said and what Leighton said and what Rav said and what Morgpie said. They had to defend themselves from the rest of the bullshit. They're not going to argue the point that you feel like you were assaulted. They're arguing the fact that you guys made up pointless, petty bullshit after that. You guys did this.
Claiming that everything that wasn't written explicitly in writing was a lie, while also claiming to support me, have supported me right out the gate, before shifting negative focus onto me, rather than having any words to say about the guy who assaulted me. Nick made...
They literally said that Dawn is a bad guy and that they didn't want to associate with Dawn anymore. That's the start of their videos. You're lying. You're lying, or you just can't handle the fact that they push back on other aspects of it. You're bullshitting everybody right now. Your audience that is eating this shit up are idiots.
5 different apologies, apologized for pretty much any involvement, says he shouldn't have involved himself, invalidating. Nick was just basically apologizing for whatever he was getting harassed for in the moment, and then said he was going to stop posting about it and then cut me off. I sent Nick our first text since March 22.
Let me see here. Addressing we met up at. I hope the video is okay, by the way, LMAO. I forgot to mention it afterward. LMAO, I bet it's wonderful. Wonderful. Don't even worry. Talking about a video I helped film for him the day before. I appreciate you shooting for me. You're awesome. Nick, I need to think you realize that you have not communicated with us in this at all. Our last text messages from March of last year. How can blame others for videos that you agreed to making or the outcome of them? You haven't spoken to me. I knew it. She gaslit Nick. Her and Ethan got in his fucking ear. Nick is a absolute idiot.
2022.
Jesus Christ, she wrote a Dark Viper Bible. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. You wanted to make this video multiple responses without saying anything to us, making the situation even worse each time. I had to find out through hate comments that you made a new video each time it happened, rather than us having an open line of communication as things happen. Why? Because maybe he realized that he got gaslit into making a video. Maybe that. Let's see here. Why were you upset at us and didn't want to speak? If that's the case, how can we do something about something you haven't spoken about? Waiting until the situation is this bad is not how I wanted to find out that you have problems with us. It makes me feel like you didn't have a good intentions making the video. Oh, God. Especially when I'm reminded so often on Instagram stories, you've made roasting SuperMega because it is being used to invalidate my sexual assault. Oh, my God. People are invalidating your bullshit arguments against SuperMega. That's always been my focus, is that it's bullshit arguments against SuperMega. Over time, I'm starting to not believe the essay. Sorry. Let's see here. I made a video talking about how they covered it up and still didn't make any posts like that, Nick. There's a lot of things you fucked up on, and you avoided responses by saying, you pressured me into making a video, and this is stressful for me, to us, and in the video, and walk away when this is my whole life, and I don't get to do that? You need to realize how performative that is, Nick. You need to take ownership of the mistakes of speaking on a situation you didn't know, rather than blaming others. Bro, you came to him and told him about the situation. You all agreed to make that video. You promoted that video. You're shitting me. Let's see here. The moment you stopped communicating with us about this very serious topic and went on your own about it is the moment you started making videos about things you had no idea about. I was the one assaulted, and it makes me feel like you played around with my life until things got too hot for you instead of actually trying to support me as a victim or even just a friend. Oh my God. There's so many things you could have found out sooner if you had just spoken whenever you had a question. Biggest of all is simply even just how we feel personally or our intentions without having to assume. I have Google Docs of a script I am making. I could have gladly showed you if you wanted to communicate with me directly. That wouldn't help him. You still look like an idiot with this video. It doesn't help. Even if he had your Google Docs script, it would suck ass. So much shit they lied about in both Matt and Ryan's videos. It's taken me weeks to write and gather everything for the video. I'm still healing from my trauma, and it's been really mentally taxing to have to go through this and relive everything to condense it into a video. I haven't worked on it every day because other days I've just been resting to work on it more. It's been consuming my life. God, she just is a whining. Let's see here. working on more. It's consuming my life for the past 2 weeks. I bought Final Cut, if not just to make this. I'm not fast at this because I'm not a YouTuber. If you had asked me, I would have told you this sooner. If we had spoken sooner, your original response video could have had all this in it. It still would have been picked apart and debunked pretty quickly. I need you to tell me directly if you're going to speak to me or not. I want you to put effort to communicate because I can't even defend you at all if you don't want to speak about any of this after everything that's happened. Jesus, these people aren't real.
And he doesn't respond and then goes on to make a 5th apology. Crazy, right? And his 5th apology is still up. That's the I make harmful content one. And the goalposts have been moved so much he's basically apologizing for like his whole career, which that just has nothing to do with me at that point. But Nick was being held performative by only standing up.
But it kind of like added on. The fact that Nick made that video in defense of you and called Matt a rape apologist. That ultimately pushed Nick to realize that in his words, his content is harmful. It was the video he made about the SuperMega situation that ultimately led down that path. It is about you. Oh, God.
For me when it was convenient for him. So that's pretty like dirty move. He needs to get better values for real. I just kind of feel bad for him that he betrayed himself too. I mean, shit. Accountability is not punishment. The difference between accountability and blame is that accountability is established before and blame is established after. Now, keeping that in mind, to make an apology would not be genuine, as the circumstances in which they were demanded were to humiliate rather than to mend any relationship that doesn't exist between Ryan and I, and therefore would be merely for public gesture. It's not a situation that can be repeated again, and this leaves a fundamental gap in the structure of an apology, which is the promise to not repeat the mistake. Using Nick's apology as an example, not only do I think Nick didn't know what he was apologizing for, which fed into it feeling fake, but I have no reason to not believe that giving into such public humiliation and apologizing for other people's actions would further Daniel's memory being used as a bargaining chip for onlookers who care much more about internet drama from their favorite YouTube grifter and not giving respect to
Oh my God, bitch.
Come on.
Yes, did Nick fold? Yeah, of course he did, because he realized how stupid it was to defend you. After everything that kept coming out, he realized how stupid it was to defend you. Like, it wasn't just to placate the drama audience. He had a legitimate issue. He didn't bring it up in his video, and he brought up the fact that you brought up Daniel and said that they don't care about suicide. You did that. And Ryan put it in a tweet saying, I'm not devaluing your essay, but it's kind of fucking horrible that you and all your little friends brought up Daniel into this. You also ruined the lives of 2 very funny people all because you wanted to defend your friend after you got fired. Okay, you know what's funny about this? She's putting in tweets of people shitting on her. Is she not going to acknowledge that people were just like being horrible to SuperMega? Because if we're going to play the game of you getting hate comments, SuperMega also got hate comments. So like, it's drama. It happens. You get hate comments. It's just what it is.
Sexual assault victims, much less victims of suicide. Giving a fake apology would be incredibly dishonest, and considering the original context of this topic was a video of me talking about my assault and how it got covered up, I find it incredibly inappropriate.
I want to make a few things clear before we go. It's clear that what I have to say in regards to Dawn's behavior, their behavior, didn't matter considering they tried to control the situation long before it was ever public. There's a clear power imbalance that was used against me once it was...
A power imbalance? Oh my fucking God. These people just love to use buzzwords. They just love buzzwords. There's a power imbalance. How? Dawn was their employee. They found out what happened. Then you told them. They were like, oh shit, this doesn't sound good. And it sounds like a situation that went off the rails. Our 2 friends are fighting each other. What do we need to do to fix this? They fucked up trying to fix it, owned it, and Matt also fucked up that Dawn was there. Then you go on an entire 2-hour rant about an hour and 40-minute rant, actually, about how SuperMega are horrible people because of things that they've said about Daniel, making you go homeless, and look and asking you questions about your sexual assault. How are they horrible people for those things? Are they
like the stream, y'all?
It's just frustrating. How is that a power imbalance? They didn't say anything until you made the video. Did they go behind the scenes and say, "Don't trust Lex Updog"? You know, Rubber Ross, don't trust Lex. Did they go to other YouTubers and say, "Don't trust Lex"? Did they tell people to blackball you? Where's the power imbalance?
Perceived that I could possibly have a story that could ruin SuperMega. This couldn't have happened if they did the right thing. Despite this, Matt and Ryan still chose to react the way they did. Why? It's because they weren't confused. Matt and Ryan immediately became defensive and secretive over word of my assault before any expression to go public had ever been.
You were the one that said, "I want to do this in person. I don't want a record of it, and I want to talk to all parties involved." You never talked about going public. You're just making shit up now.
And expressed. Matt's attempt to sweep it under the rug failed after I denied an offer to an apartment while he was intoxicated. He had apologized right before. Matt gave conditions with the gift offer of paying for a place for me, which would have been me living alone in a city with no car, a city I was new to, an apartment of which wouldn't have been paid by me or been in my name. Accepting this would have been giving someone direct authority and financial control over me while I lived alone.
You said it was a bribe earlier. You said it was to buy your silence. Are you extrapolating on that? Are you trying to say that's part of the power imbalance, that Matt wanted to find you a place to live because he didn't want you living in the megaplex anymore? Yeah. Is it bad? Wait. Also, you didn't say that the apartment was going to be in Matt's name. You said he was going to help you with the rent for an apartment for 7 months. I don't remember you ever saying that there was conditions attached to it. You just said, Matt offered to find me a place and pay for 7 months worth of rent. Now you're adding things. You're adding things that make you look more like a victim than what you said initially. I don't believe you.
During my stay at their office, Matt and Ryan used the same motive for protecting themselves to monitor me and had their employees do the same. Once it was clear I wasn't simply letting my sexual assault go, their smear campaign began amongst people that I thought were my friends. This ultimately led to Matt and Ryan hearing through an employee that I was displeased about their response to Don before I could tell them personally, in which Ryan's response to this was to attempt to guilt me into silence over bringing it up. Don is an admitted compulsive liar. He's a manipulator. He hides behind fictional personas and his artistic talents. He does not care about consent. There are 2 known instances in which he has ignored a woman telling him no, then going on to apologize only after coercing them and assaulting them. This is a pattern of behavior that will not stop if others around him are constantly aiding and enabling and making excuses for him.
But they literally cut off ties with him, put in the videos that they're not invalidating your essay and Dawn did something bad.
Where is the source that they went out of their way to slander you and to make shit up about you? Where is the proof? Where is it?
Most likely Dawn will get away from this.
And yeah, who's the second person? The only other thing that I know is that there is a grooming allegation, but that doesn't even look like it's mired in fact. Who is the second person?
Fine, and many have wondered how. Don, generally speaking, does not have a parasocial fan base in the same manner as Matt and Ryan. My condemnation of Don only influences people so far as people with morality, as I don't have parasocial fans. The true lack of accountability stems from a lack of condemnation from Matt and Ryan to Don. How? Well, they decide to focus on publicly shaming me for speaking out about what happened rather than simply condemn what took place.
They said in their videos that what happened to you, they're not devaluing. They acknowledged that. What they had to do was, I can't believe I'm repeating myself again. What they had to do was defend themselves from you, Leighton, Morgue Pie, Ethan, and Nick, and Rav adding on additional shit that didn't matter to the Dawn situation.
They knowingly use their social influence to shift the audience focus from Dawn and their actions to questioning my motives and shifting the blame onto me.
But you did that to yourself. People were already criticizing you about that. It wasn't Matt and Ryan that did that. It was all, I'll be honest, it was all of us, because you didn't make it. It was so stupid that we couldn't all wrap our heads around it.
To this day, I've hidden from posting publicly for around as long as the man who assaulted me has, because the fans of the friends I trusted telling my assault about wouldn't stop harassing me daily. Despite this, many wonder why Dawn doesn't get as much flack and blame my timeline of my original video.
People shit on Dawn? Not everybody.
Because nobody...
But Matt and Ryan acknowledged that it was a horrible thing. People on Twitter agreed that what Dawn did, if true, was bad. Personally, I'm like, whatever. I'm going to be honest. But people were more focused on the fact that you brought up Daniel, that you accused them of making you go homeless, that there's a bunch of other bullshit in between. That is what they focused on because you made it a clown show.
He realizes that Matt and Ryan don't focus on what Dawn did to me was wrong. They speak about how what they think I did was wrong to them. Matt and Ryan decided to get themselves involved further than what was ever asked, of which I had asked them to keep me away from Dawn in person. I was assaulted, and people who I thought were my friends covered it up to protect their YouTube channel. Those
covered it up. Let me give you an example of somebody covering up a sexual assault to kind of give you a baseline. Okay, chat? Mizkif and Maya Higa. Let us get a baseline going. Crazy Slick went into a drunk girl's room, felt her up while she was drunk. Adriana Lee brings that forward and tells somebody, and she's going to write a twit longer. Mizkif, allegedly, before I get sued, sends over Maya. Maya turns around and tells Adriana Lee, allegedly, to change certain things about her allegations to make it not as damaging on Crazy Slick. Mizkif says, that's my best friend. Then he proceeds to say, how can it be sexual assault? It's not that big of a deal. On a live stream. That is devaluing. That is covering it up. That's a cover-up. Matt and Ryan keeping things private because you wanted to keep things between everybody involved and slipping up and saying, fuck, maybe they should talk it out. And Matt not remembering that you and Dawn are going to be in the same location at the same time and owning that. That's not a cover-up. What I just described with Mizkif is a cover-up. That is a lot more egregious and obviously a cover-up versus Matt and Ryan not handling a situation properly and then owning the fact that they didn't handle that situation properly. They did what you wanted. Sure, did they stumble along the way? Yes. Yes. But they didn't devalue you. They didn't devalue your assault. They acknowledged it and said, we're not here to devalue it.
same friends then hid behind problems they have with other people to make it look like I had ill intentions by speaking out about getting assaulted and their actions afterwards.
That's because you were in Leighton's chat saying, Leighton, tell your story. You were in Morgue Pie's chat. Morgue Pie, tell your story. You had Ethan and yourself on a live stream promoting Nick's video, calling Matt a rape apologist. Oh my God. Of course, they had to defend themselves from those additional fucking storylines.
They use their own agendas of prioritizing their YouTube channel and having a good reputation to attempt to gaslight and manipulate me into silence. With their actions, Matt and Ryan have shown everyone from their videos the lengths they're willing to go to lie, manipulate, triangulate, gaslight, to cover for their own bad behavior, to have you, the viewer, feel bad for them. Unfortunately, I allowed Matt and Ryan to manipulate me by my projection onto them of who they were, or rather, who I thought they were, or rather, who they portray themselves as. I consistently gave them the benefit of the doubt even when it went against my own wisdom to do so, simply because we were friends. It wasn't until after watching their videos and how I saw that they had manipulated the story to their own benefit when I truly realized what was taking place. The same self-serving motivations to further their career that was given from the very beginning. What I thought was internet gossip ended up being a direct cover-up, using an audience willing to reject reality for—
Wait, using an audience? They didn't respond for a long time. Nick is not green, and you weaponized that audience. You went on a live stream with Ethan, your boyfriend, and championed the fact that the Reddit is turning on them, that they're losing subscribers, and that people should watch the video that Nick made calling Matt a rape apologist. That is weaponizing an audience. Matt and Ryan did not call for the audience to do any of those things. You weaponized the audience that was falling off of them to your own benefit. Don't you fucking try and turn that on Matt and Ryan.
their version of it. Instead of making an actual response, it's simply just easier to make a last-minute video lying. There's no need to defend yourself when your parasocial audience sees you as the reason why their favorite YouTubers stop posting. Matt and Ryan downplaying their actions, and even their own knowledge, leads people to be sympathetic to them through their own pre-established parasocial relationships.
I have no parasocial relationship to Matt and Ryan. Turkey Tom doesn't have a parasocial relationship to Matt and Ryan. Larynx doesn't have a parasocial relationship to Matt and Ryan. Sleepy doesn't have a parasocial relationship to Matt and Ryan. Destiny does not have a parasocial relationship with Matt and Ryan. Einabber and all the other people that made Nick is Not Green related content and Lex related content involving SuperMega do not have parasocial relationships to Matt and Ryan. Where is that coming from? Just because Matt and Ryan's audience are fucking pathetic. The ones that are dumb, not all of them, but a good portion of them, that the 50,000 people that left and started shit-talking them without hearing their side of the story, those people are parasocial. I will say it. But the people covering this entire story are not.
They lie to their fans who would have believed them and stuck around, even if—
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. That is a good point, Shinji. That this woman is crying about parasocial fans, but has an OnlyFans. The quintessential content for creating parasocial bonds. The quintessential content that will make a parasocial bond. Okay.
they had told the truth. And they used their audience's attachment to them against people who threatened them, believing that—
Which is what you and Ethan did, and weaponized those people that were angry on your live stream. Did you forget about that?
Despite overwhelming evidence of intent, their favorite content creators are just simply ignorant little boys. Their audience enables and infantilizes 30-year-old men they wish to protect from—
Nobody's infantilizing them. People say that these people are idiots, and they fucked up on certain parts of this. Okay? There are certain parts of this that they definitely fucked up on, and I've acknowledged that. But they aren't malicious actors. They aren't horrible people that will go out of their way to slander you. They acknowledged what you feel to be your sexual assault. They had to respond to all the other bullshit that wasn't even related to that.
their own actions. Matt and Ryan's act of feigning ignorance and convenient forgetfulness enables them to self-victimize themselves as a response to someone speaking out on being sexually assaulted, an actual crime. This upload falls on April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. For many, the internet is off—
Oh my god. Stop. I thought April was Autism Month. Chat, am I stupid? Isn't it like Autism Awareness Month? When was April Sexual Assault Awareness Month? Is it April Autism? And then also, she waited 9 months for that. She timed this out. She timed this out just to put it out the same month as sexual assault month. That might be the funniest thing I've heard all day. Oh god. April's autism and essay awareness. Okay, that's still funny to me that she timed this out.
The only choice in speaking out. The justice system is notorious for not helping sexual assault victims. In North America, 1 in 4 women will experience sexual assault.
Oh god, she's bringing up rape stats.
Rape or attempted rape in their lifetime.
I want to drop a disclaimer that there's a lot of discrepancies between this particular statistic. I got this one that I said in my video originally from this one, and I'll link it because I got it because it's from 2020. So it seems like the most recent one out of all of them that I'd looked at. And here is where I got that statistic from. However, there's this statistic that is 1 in 5 women. This particular website is the National...
This is... Is she having a synthetic man moment? Where she's bringing up rape statistics like synthetic man brings up race statistics. Xylee, don't be mad at me that I am laughing at a woman bringing up rape statistics. This is fucking insane. You can't get mad at me. You can't get mad at me, Xylee. I know you're still in the chat. You're not allowed to be mad at me for laughing at that. You're not allowed. That's fucking crazy. What? Oh, and she used the 2020 rape statistic.
Sexual violence.
And she has to explain that she got the statistic wrong in her video.
Resource Center, and it says 1 in 5 women experienced attempted or completed rape during their lifetime. And it says 1 in 3 women between age 11 and 17. So it varies based off of your age as well. Funny enough, one that I actually was not looking for was between 2 and 10% are false reports. Yeah, of course it's low. People barely report it to begin with. The one based off of your age as well. Funny enough, one that I actually was not looking for was between 2 and 10% are false reports. Yeah, of course it's low. People barely report it to begin with.
She's one of the... Someone in chat said it, not me.
1 in 6 statistic comes from the Rape Abuse Incest National Network. A lot of very awful words together in one thing. It took a second. And that's where I have the third one, the third statistic that varies. But I can't find a date on this one. So that's why I didn't include it in the video. And I regardless, I'll be putting these in the description so you can look at all the resources that I have shown to you so far.
Despite this, less than 5% report these to the police. Shame and fear being one of the largest reasons why. 310 out of 1,000 women go...
Oh my god. Dude, she's literally trying to position herself as a martyr right now. I don't think I'm crazy saying that. To the women in chat that are watching this, because I do have, like... I don't have, like, a sizable woman audience, but I know women watch me. Do you not feel that that Lex is positioning herself as a martyr for people that are, and I'm not kidding when I say this, not getting their voices heard from being raped? Does she not come across as that she's trying to martyr herself? I feel like she's trying to martyr herself. She's trying to say, nobody, like, I came forward and got shit on. So this is me living what these stats are. is that people are afraid to come forward, but I wasn't afraid to come forward, and I took ridicule for it. That comes across as a martyr to me. Or somebody that's trying to be like, well, I told my story and I got shit on for it. I'm feeling that. That's my position. I don't know if you all feel that, but I kind of do. It kind of comes across that way.
To the police. When they do go to the police, will experience sexual assault, rape, or attempted rape in their lifetime. 25 out of 1,000 are convicted of a crime. I hope this can shed some light on why women don't go to the police immediately. Beyond that, it extends the trauma of having to retell a story over and over in court. Whether to the cops or anyone else, this rings true for victims. People don't speak out when they feel scared. When someone says that I'm making it harder for victims to speak out, I know that isn't true, because others have felt empowered enough to tell me their stories privately and publicly in response to my story.
Yeah, and that story that you were told before all of this, you willfully ignored it. But I don't even know if that story is real, but still.
Some for the first time. What scares people is the reaction from others. When we expect perfection out of victims, it shifts the attention off of the person that...
It's not perfection. If you stuck to the Dawn stuff, right? And I'm not joking when I say this. If she stuck to the Dawn stuff, she wouldn't have gotten as much pushback. People would have just been like, holy shit, this Dawn guy, I can't believe this happened. Where's the proof of that? Okay? And then she would just have to provide, you know, whatever she had to involving the Dawn stuff. If she didn't go on a tirade and have a group of friends go on a tirade about Matt and Ryan's involvement, which is minimal at best, she probably would have been fine. Nobody's calling for perfection. They're saying the way that you handled it involving Matt and Ryan was bad and unnecessary and false.
Made them a victim in the first place. It should be okay to speak out about assault online. If you've held something in...
Okay, yes, whatever, I don't care. You should go to the police. You should not be going online as your first option. You should go to the cops. Second, again, if you go down that route, maybe not try to drudge up personal drama you have with two other people. Go to the cops. Don't involve two people. Bring up the fact that they called that their friend who committed suicide a coward, that they slandered you and all this other bullshit, that they made you go homeless. If you didn't add any of that additional stuff, you probably would have been okay. But no, you had to go down the fucking petty vindictive route.
Like this before, you know how it can be life-altering to finally let it go, to speak on it and move past it. Nobody deserves to stay silent, and I'm not going to be silent because of anyone. I'll be leaving links in the description that go into detail of cycles of manipulation and abuse in case anyone would like to read further into the topic. Spotting the behavior is the first step to enable yourself to protect yourself, to create better boundaries against people who can benefit to manipulate you. As I move forward, I would appreciate any support or any words of encouragement. It would mean so much. Also, if you're comfortable, I would like to encourage a space where anyone can feel safe to share any stories or advice in the comments.
Oh! Anyone that wants to share any stories or advice, make it comfortable. Ooh! That's interesting because I'm pretty sure in the beginning of this, I had this saved. Where are they? I had these saved. This one. I welcome people to share their stories. Proceeds to delete this story from the comments section. Okay, Lex. Sure.
Anything that you'd be willing to share about your experiences with abuse, someone might really benefit from hearing your story. This experience made me realize that the courage it takes to speak out and the empowerment that comes from it is contagious. I hope that telling my story can...
we might go over that.
Thank
you for the 50.
Like myself, whom will now never ever come forward because they are ashamed to be anything close to what Lex is. Lex, you are an evil person.
You should still come forward if a horrible thing happened to you. Don't let some dumb fucking bitch that is like straight up fucking up her entire story and everything about it to dissuade you from doing the right thing and coming forward about an actual situation that happened to you. Show proof. Be consistent on those things. There's no reason to involve other people that aren't necessarily at fault for it. Talk about the situation, stick to the facts of the situation, and actually come forward. And don't be afraid to do that. This person should not make anyone feel scared to come forward. She fucked this up on her own merits. She destroyed her own credibility, and her friends destroyed her credibility. Not people like myself, not people like Chud Logic, not people like Lyrics, not people like fucking Tom, none of those people. I hope you find closure one day for people who genuinely had serious situations and they need to come forward about it. Don't let my coverage and other people's coverage dissuade you because of a fucking cunt like this. Don't do that.
Maybe help someone learn that what they've dealt with in their own lives could be abuse, so they can start to find support. If I could at least help one person, then this was all worth it. I hope you have a good day.
You aren't helping anybody. If anything, I just help more people with my take on this, and that small little section acknowledging somebody in my chat who's hurting. I feel like that helped a lot more people than this entire fucking video. You haven't helped a goddamn person. You haven't helped shit. You are scum.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the clip. Thank you for using Wikipedia for doing the editing. Make sure you give them a follow on Twitter, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. Check out the link in the description for the LOLcow trading card game. There's a brand new pack called Series X. That pack has my card in it, the tipster cards as well. On top of that, there's a bunch of other cast of characters in there, and we're also working towards an ultimate goal for that. So make sure you guys click on the link below. We're going to try and upload daily here and do live streams pretty often, so make sure you stick around and hit that like button. Thanks, guys.